In the quiet hours when most are asleep, the world transforms into something altogether more sinister. Shadows stretch across empty streets, and the silence is broken only by the faintest whispers of wind. It is in these moments, under the cover of darkness, that true horror stories emerge. Stories not born from imagination, but from the chilling reality of events that defy explanation. Tonight, we embark on an immersive journey into the unknown, where every detail is drawn from verified accounts and every unanswered question lingers like a cold breath on the back of your neck. What you are about to hear is not fiction, but the unsettling truth that waits in the dead of night. On a frigid winter night, the silence of a remote home was shattered by a series of unsettling events. It began innocuously, with a bedroom door lock that had failed days earlier, a minor inconvenience, dismissed without a second thought. But as darkness deepened, the broken lock took on a sinister significance. Faint creaks echoed through the hallways, and shadows seemed to linger just beyond the threshold. Was it merely the wind, or something far more disturbing? The answer would soon reveal itself, but not before fear took root in the heart of the house. In the quiet hours before dawn, the house seemed to breathe with its own secrets. The bedroom door, once firmly shut, now stood ajar, its edges fractured by age and the relentless winter winds. For a moment, the mind clung to rational explanations. Drafts, settling wood, the innocent groans of an old structure. Yet beneath these reassurances, a persistent unease took root, as if something unseen had slipped through the crack. The silence felt heavier, and the shadows seemed to watch, waiting for the next movement. In the dead of night, the silence is broken by the unsettling creak of floorboards and the faint shuffle of footsteps echoing through the house. Each sound seems deliberate, as if someone, or something, is moving with purpose. The narrator lies rigid beneath the covers, heart pounding, caught between the instinct to remain hidden and the urge to confront the unknown. The darkness feels heavier, pressing in from all sides, amplifying every whisper and groan of the old walls. Was it merely the house settling, or had something crossed the threshold, waiting just beyond the bedroom door? The silence is shattered by a second awakening. The bedroom door, previously closed, now stands ajar, its hinges creaking softly in the darkness. Just beyond the threshold, a shadowy figure moves, barely perceptible but unmistakably present. The air grows colder, and a suffocating dread settles over the room. Paralyzed by fear, the narrator can only watch as the figure lingers, its intentions unknown, leaving a chilling question. Who or what waits in the darkness? The confrontation at the bedroom door was brief, but its intensity lingered in the air. For a moment, silence pressed against the walls, heavy and absolute, as if the house itself was holding its breath. Then, the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoed down the hallway, measured, deliberate, fading slowly into darkness. Investigators later noted how witnesses described the silence as unnatural, almost suffocating, before the footsteps finally vanished. What remained was a sense of dread and the unsettling question of who or what had walked away that night. When police arrived, they swept through the house with practiced efficiency, searching every room and corner. Despite the family's terror, nothing unusual was found, no signs of forced entry, no evidence of an intruder. Yet as the officers prepared to leave, the night seemed to grow colder, heavier, From the kitchen window, a witness later recalled seeing a faint silhouette standing among the trees, motionless, its gaze fixed on the house. Was it a trick of the shadows, or had something been waiting, watching, just beyond the reach of the law? In the days following the incident, investigators combed through the dense woods behind the narrator's home. They found narrow, worn footpaths, almost invisible beneath the tangled undergrowth, hinting at repeated passage. A closer inspection of the house revealed a back window lock, rusted and broken, likely tampered with weeks before the night of the intrusion. These unsettling clues point to a chilling reality. The intruder had been watching, waiting, and planning, long before anyone suspected. Yet, no fingerprints were found, and the forest remains eerily silent, as if holding its secrets close. As investigators examined the shattered bedroom lock, a chilling possibility emerged. Was this damage truly accidental, or had it been carefully orchestrated to allow silent entry? Eyewitness accounts recalled faint footsteps and inexplicable drafts, but no one could pinpoint when the intruder first crossed the threshold. The thought lingered. How many nights had someone watched from the shadows, undetected? With no clear answers, the sense of safety in the house dissolved, replaced by a haunting uncertainty. In a final act of desperation, the victim fled from the shadow that had haunted their every step. Yet, even as the distance grew, the chilling sensation of being watched never faded. Interviews with local police reveal a pattern. Those who tried to escape often reported seeing fleeting figures in mirrors, hearing whispers in empty rooms. The fear became a constant companion, gnawing at the edges of sanity. Was the presence ever truly left behind, or did it simply wait for the next opportunity to return? It was supposed to be a simple drive, a quiet journey through the winding back roads of northern Oregon. But as dusk settled and a heavy fog crept over the forest, the world seemed to shrink into shadows and silence. The car sputtered, then died, leaving me stranded in the heart of the mist. The only sounds were the distant calls of unseen birds and the soft hiss of the wind through the trees. Alone, with no cell signal and miles from the nearest town, I began to sense that something was watching from the darkness, waiting for the night to deepen. With the last bars of cell service fading and night descending swiftly, I began my walk deeper into the woods. The air felt colder, heavier, as if the forest itself was watching. Every step seemed to echo, punctuated by the sharp, unpredictable snap of branches, somewhere just out of sight. The silence was not comforting. It was oppressive, broken only by those unsettling noises that suggested I was not alone. As I pressed forward, a growing sense of unease settled in, raising the question, was something lurking in the darkness, waiting for me to make a mistake? The discovery of an abandoned sedan, concealed beneath a dense canopy of trees, sent a chill through investigators. Its windows were fogged, the doors locked from the inside, and personal belongings scattered across the seats, silent witnesses to a hurried departure. Police records show no registered owner, and the vehicle's presence remains unexplained, fueling speculation about its connection to earlier disappearances. Locals whisper that the car has been there for years, untouched, as if it waits for someone to return. The question lingers: who left it behind, and what happened in those shadowed woods? In the dense silence of the forest, indistinct figures drift between the trees, their faces obscured and their motives shrouded in darkness. Each step forward feels heavier, as if the air itself thickens with apprehension. The sensation of being watched intensifies, the threat multiplying, lurking just beyond the reach of sight. Eyewitnesses recall fleeting glimpses, shadows slipping behind trunks, whispers carried on the wind, never quite revealing themselves. What draws these figures closer, and why do they remain hidden, waiting for the moment when the line between observer and prey is finally crossed? On a desolate stretch of highway, the only sound is the distant hum of tires against cracked asphalt. Out of the darkness, headlights approach. A battered pickup truck, its driver obscured by shadows. For the stranded traveler, this unexpected arrival feels like salvation, yet unease lingers beneath the surface. The stranger's smile is polite, but his eyes betray something colder, something unreadable. As the door swings open, the night air grows heavier, and the question remains: is this lifeline genuine, or the beginning of something far more sinister? As the car winds through the dense forest, every shadow seems to stretch longer. Every branch appears to claw at the windows. The silence inside is broken only by the nervous breaths of those desperate to escape. Yet the woods outside remain eerily still. Despite the urgency, a chilling uncertainty hangs in the air. What unseen presence might be watching from the darkness, just beyond the reach of the headlights? The drive offers no comfort, only the unsettling realization that safety is not guaranteed. And as the trees close in, the question persists: was something following them, or was it already waiting ahead? When I returned with the police to the scene, my own car was no longer where I had left it. The officers exchanged uneasy glances, their skepticism dissolving into concern. The abandoned sedan, now joined by my missing vehicle, hinted at a disturbing pattern, one that seemed to target those who dared to investigate. The cold air felt heavier, as if something unseen watched from the shadows. Was this merely coincidence, or had I become the latest victim of the town's relentless, unseen force? Despite exhaustive police investigations, no evidence is ever found, and the forest remains silent, withholding its secrets from those who seek them. The authorities comb through every inch of the woods, yet the shadowy figures vanish without a trace, leaving only unanswered questions in their wake. Eyewitnesses recall chilling encounters, but their testimonies are dismissed as mere superstition. The fate of those who disappeared before remains unknown, haunting the town with a sense of unresolved dread. As night falls, the narrator is left to wonder what truly lurks beneath the trees, and who else has been claimed by the darkness. Deep in the forest, hidden from the main road, a solitary Airbnb cabin stands surrounded by tangled trails and unmarked paths. The silence of the woods is broken only by the occasional snap of a twig, echoing through the darkness. On this particular night, a guest reported hearing footsteps outside, slow and deliberate, circling the cabin. The local police later found no evidence of anyone nearby, yet the guest swore they saw a pale face pressed against the window, smiling. To this day, the identity of the visitor remains unknown, leaving the question who or what walks those forgotten trails after midnight. As dusk settled over the forest, the narrator stumbled upon two men standing motionless among the twisted trees. Their faces were obscured, and not once did they speak or acknowledge his presence. At first, he tried to reason with himself, imagining they were simply other guests from the lodge, perhaps out for a late walk. But as he continued along the winding trail, the woods grew colder, and the silence pressed in, broken only by the distant snap of branches. With each step deeper into the darkness, the sense of unease intensified, leaving him to wonder, were these men truly strangers, or something else entirely? A piercing, unnatural scream reverberates through the dense woods, freezing the air with dread. Moments later, the two men emerge from the shadows, their faces pale and expressionless, now standing directly between the narrator and the only route to safety. Their presence feels heavier, more sinister, as if something unseen clings to them. The forest, once silent, now seems to pulse with a strange energy, amplifying the sense of impending danger. What drove these men to return, and what lies behind their unsettling intentions, remains a mystery, leaving the narrator trapped and vulnerable in the darkness. As the men disappear into the dense woods, the oppressive silence is broken only by the faint crackling of branches underfoot. Despite their absence, the feeling of being observed lingers, heavy and unrelenting. The narrator's hurried steps toward the cabin are accompanied by strange, echoing noises, whispers that seem to drift from the shadows, never quite revealing their source. Each glance over the shoulder yields nothing but darkness, yet the sensation of unseen eyes grows stronger, gnawing at the edges of reason. What waits beyond the tree line remains unknown, but fear settles in, cold and absolute, refusing to let go. As darkness settles over the isolated house, the narrator sits by the fireplace, hoping its warmth will chase away the lingering dread. The flames flicker, casting uneasy shadows on the walls, while the wind howls outside. Suddenly, the silence is shattered by a scream, unnatural and piercing, echoing from the woods beyond. It is the same sound that haunted the night before, a chilling reminder that whatever lurks outside has not gone away. With each passing moment, the sense of safety slips further from reach, leaving only unanswered questions and the promise of more terror to come. The sound of knuckles against wood echoed through the silent house, each knock heavier than the last. When the door swung open, the figures standing outside wore grotesque animal masks, fox, stag, and owl, each one staring with unblinking, lifeless eyes. The narrator's trembling hand reached for the phone, dialing emergency services as a cold, ancient fear took hold, deeper than anything felt before. Police records later described the call as frantic, barely coherent. The voice on the line whispering about masked intruders and shadows that moved with unnatural purpose. Yet, as the authorities raced toward the scene, one chilling question remained. Who or what waited behind those masks? In the quiet aftermath, investigators found a single, chilling clue. A knife wedged deep into the old wooden door. Its blade glinted in the moonlight, a silent testament to the men's presence. No fingerprints, no witnesses, only the unsettling mark left behind. The townspeople whispered about the meaning, but no one could explain why the men had come, or what message they intended. As the night swallowed their tracks, the mystery grew darker, leaving only questions that would haunt the community for years to come. When police arrived at the scene, their search yielded almost nothing. No footprints, no signs of struggle, not even a trace of the missing person. The official report described the area as undisturbed, but the silence felt unnatural, as if the woods themselves were hiding something. Investigators left with empty hands, and the case quickly faded from public attention. Yet, for those who witnessed the events, a chilling uncertainty remained. What secrets lie beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered in the shadows of the forest? In the quiet aftermath, a chilling silence settles over the town. The memories of those lost linger like shadows, and the unsettling truth remains. Some mysteries are never meant to be unraveled. Investigators sift through fragments of evidence, but answers slip through their fingers, leaving only questions and unease. Locals whisper that the darkness beneath their streets is not finished, and the possibility of another disappearance hangs heavy in the air. As night falls, the sense of dread grows, hinting that the story is far from over. It was meant to be a simple escape. A group of friends, laughter echoing inside a car as they crossed endless, barren plains. The horizon stretched on, offering nothing but silence and the promise of adventure. But as dusk settled, the landscape grew colder, and the road seemed to unravel into something unfamiliar. One by one, the friends began to sense a presence, something watching from the shadows beyond the headlights. What started as a carefree journey soon became a descent into terror, as the empty plains revealed secrets no traveler should ever witness.